This is video 28 video series of the detail on the 2019 Mini Cooper Clubman. If you've watched all the videos up until now, thank you very much. If you haven't, please go back and check those other videos. Like I said, this is the 28th video, so we've broken the whole detail down into 28 videos. And in this one here, we're doing the interior, very light interior cleaning on the Mini Cooper, starting with vacuum. Particularly seats like this, it's really important to get the dirt and the grit out of those little cracks, because over time they can add like kind of like an abrasive or like sandpaper and damage the threads or damage the material in those areas. So really important to pay attention to those areas. Here I'm using the CARPRO synthetic detailing brush, particularly on like areas like the vents and glossy areas. Using that brush while using the vacuum, you can instead of pushing the dust around, you can just kind of work it towards the vacuum and suck it up and get rid of it. And here, just basically simply getting the little gritty stuff after removing the floor mats. I really hate to leave any little piece of dirt behind, so I spend the time. It's one of my favorite parts here, the door trim or the rubber seals around the outside. It tends to pick up little pieces of dirt, so using one hand to kind of open up the crack and suck out all that grit and sand. And it makes a big difference in the overall appearance when you open the door. And using just one hand to kind of open up the crack in the seam, suck out all that grit. If you can't get it, sometimes over a long time it really gets stuck in there. You can use really tiny brushes. You'll see later I use one. 100 Yen shop has a lot of those little brushes. They're not expensive at all, and really good for detailing in my opinion. This carpet really holds on to the dirt. It can be a bit of a pain, and it just takes some time to work out sand and grit. If you have a lot of trouble getting some of the stuff out, you can use a brush to just kind of work it up to the surface. Things like this little stick here, can be really stuck into the carpet there, so you might have to use your hand to pull it out. Or in some cases, some really nasty stuff, you can use fingernail clippers to fortunately clip it out. You've got little pieces of stone just flying around, just seems to want to bounce out when it does get released. So here I am. This is one of my favorite techniques for doing the vents, just using that really soft brush so it's not scratching any glossy surfaces, just working the dust out of the vent. I like to turn the blower on so if dust is freed, it doesn't go into the vent, into the duct, it goes out. So, and if it comes out, it's sucked up by the vacuum cleaner. I don't like to use air to blow dust around inside the car. I don't find it's effective. I think it just pushes the dirt around, and in some cases makes more work. Next, I move on to cleaning the seats using CARPRO Inside. In most cases with leather or even fake leather, I use a leather brush, but in this case the surface is not really that textured and it's not all that dirty. So I just apply it to the microfiber and give it a light wipe. You don't have to wipe it strong. If it's really dirty, I strongly recommend a leather brush. You don't want to use a lot of pressure. Basically, you just want to work it up into a lather and then wipe it off one direction. In this case, I'm just using a little bit of product and applying it and kind of wiping at the same time, and then wiping off with the backside of the same microfiber, and just focusing on specific areas that have a little bit of dirt here and there. As you can see inside, it comes with a foaming spray nozzle, particularly for, well, interior. You don't really need liquid, you just want the cleaning product. When it comes out in a foam, it's less likely to kind of soak into fabric materials, particularly things like leather. You don't really want to soak the leather. You just want the cleaning agent to be on the surface in time to let it work before you wipe it off. And inside is quite mild, so it's quite safe for almost all interior surfaces. And now we're just working on the rear trunk area, starting with the backing. Try to be careful that the vacuum hose is not dragging on the rear bumper or painted areas. And if it's long enough, if your hose is long enough, throw it over your shoulder. Use the other hand to kind of hold it off the painted area. Okay, and this area is a little bit dirty, probably from putting things in and out of the car, but I'm using the leather brush just because it's a little more textured here, so that the brush helps to really agitate and get into the grooves of that textured area. And wipe in one direction, you don't really need to push it around in circles. So do a small section at a time, and I think it's best to wipe it off while it's still foaming, don't let it dry. And you can even use a damp microfiber towel after to wipe it again. Here I'm going to apply Pearl after this, so I give it a wipe down with CARPRO Eraser, just to make sure there's no residue from inside. A couple sprays, wipe. Okay, and I've diluted CARPRO Perl 1:3 into this little pump bottle here, and I'm going to show you a 50-50, the darkening effect. But yeah, more so than the darkening effect, you just want to get a nice coating on here, so even if it is scuffed or it gets dirty, it's going to be a lot easier to clean. In most cases, a damp, wet microfiber towel is going to be enough to clean that area after you've done this. Once every 3 months or once every 6 months, you can reapply it. And I'm also using the microfiber applicator, really handy for interior application. So you can apply it in some really tight areas with that applicator. So it doesn't leave it glossy as much as it has that darkening effect. And it looks really good. And the pump wasn't really working, so I just took the cap off. And similar to applying like a body coating or glass coating, exterior plastics, you really want to work the coating into the plastic, into the pores, get it really leveled out, even coverage. And if you're having trouble kind of leveling off, you can use a microfiber cloth, a dry one, and just wipe off the excess. Really nice finish. And all these other plastics on the interior trim here, just give them a light coating, and they will be a lot easier to clean later on. So really, I strongly recommend using a headlamp when doing interior detailing. It's kind of light, makes a world of difference. How much visibility you have inside a vehicle. And that's the rear part of the vehicle done. Moving on to the front area. I think it's the driver's side next. So again, starting with the vacuum. This area is terrible for small little stones and whatnot, which stick to your shoes getting into the car. So sometimes it helps to use a little brush, tiny brush, just to work those stones and sand out of there and vacuum it up. Really helps to have a vacuum with a lot of suction power to get some of this stuff out. This carpet really holds on to the dirt. Here I'm using one of those brushes from the 100 yen shop. Just work out the sand from the crack between the little plastic there and the carpet. And these little slides for the seat. Just kind of working the dust out and sucking up with the vacuum. So another microfiber and just kind of lightly wiping down the seats. Typically, if your leather seats have a lot of gloss, probably because there's oils and sweat built up. And typically matte leather, there should be like a more of a matte color. So if you want to check your leather and see what kind of condition it is in, so that's always a good sign. Particularly like something like your steering wheel there, where you put your hands, like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock on the wheel, or also like 7 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Those areas tend to be a little shinier. And those areas, you really want to use a leather brush. You don't really want to be too aggressive and use a microfiber cloth to rub it too hard. Just softly work it in with the brush. Here I think I found like something really stuck into the carpet there, and just using a little bit of steam to help heat it up and try to remove it. It was really stuck in there, so I ended up getting rid of the microfiber and just kind of using the steamer. Just be careful when using the steamer. This has got like a brush head on it, which is not so bad, but if you use a finer head, it can kind of leave marks in the carpet, so just be careful with that. I usually wrap a microfiber around the head of a brush type head like this one, and you can clean quite a bit with just a steamer without using chemicals. And anything you can't remove with that, I like to use a chemical so that you can see something stuck into the carpet, but with a little bit of heat and the steam there, I'm able to kind of just break it down and remove it. So even just using a steamer with no chemical, you can clean it up, and you can really revive carpets like this. And I like to use a brush at the end just to make all the fibers kind of stand in one direction. Looks a lot more uniform. And thank you for watching this series. Please stay tuned to check out the finale video, which includes basically the overall finish and some before and after shots. Thank you, and look forward to more videos.